coach of Norfolk State University, Coach Rob Jones. Again, we lost by 3 today, 83-80. Had a chance, Stephen Whitley with a driving layup with the left hand, couldn't quite get it to fall, but this really came down to turnovers tonight. You look at it, 26 turnovers tonight for the team, and they scored 27 points off those turnovers.
Yeah, 26 is a lot of turnovers. 26, you're lucky to even be in the game with 26 turnovers. That's something that's, that we haven't done yet all season, even against some of the, other competition. But, it was a sloppy game, especially down the stretch. I think, Mustadi, he played pretty good for us, but then once again, he's a freshman. And, down the stretch, thrown into the fire, and a couple of costly turnovers there. But a couple of costly turnovers by, other people down the stretch. It's not just one play. It's never just one play that, causes a win or a loss. It was a combination of plays, and, we came out on the short end of the stick.
Hey, we get right back to it as we travel across the country to go to San Diego. I know you have a lot to talk to your team about tonight. But what's going to be the biggest thing that you're going to say to him tonight going into that game on this end of this week?
The same thing I said to you in the pregame, and that was one of the biggest words I tell you is just having urgency. It wasn't enough urgency or fire to close that game. Now I know, in theory, some of our fire guys and quotes are not playing right now, and maybe other people can feed off of that, but if they don't play, all season, we got to manufacture our own fire, and guys that maybe are not as fiery have to become fiery a little bit in order to have that intensity that's needed to win basketball games.
Coach, it also seemed like the little things tonight. If you look at some of those little stats in there, assists tonight. We had 10 assists on our 26 made baskets. They had 16 on their 28.
Yeah.
You look at going to the free throw line, 22 of 31. We missed 9 free throws. We got there, just got to make those free throws. It's just it's the small numbers and maybe the hustle plays. A couple of loose ball rebounds that they got that we had our hands on. I think it was a steal underneath the basket when we had a rebound. It's those small things. It's just cleaning up the basketball game that should help us going down the stretch.
No, without question. It's cleaning up the basketball game. The biggest thing, the free throws, we 71%, is not a terrible team percentage, but the 10 assists is the problem. It was a 26 made field goals, which 80 points is a good amount of points in a college basketball game, but when it's only assisted on 10, that means there was a lot of one-on-one plays, and we try to, even in the huddles, we were preaching, share the ball. Now, granted, sometimes we shared the ball, we missed the shot.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. So you can't control the ball going in or out, but we do have to share the basketball a little bit more.
And I guess the other thing is when we foul, Coach.
Yeah.
Like in the first half, they really got going from the free throw line. Even though we led by 10 at the halftime, they came out in the second half, and they sort of came out with a little bit more energy. You said the urgency, and when we fouled, those things seemed like they stuck out the most.
Yeah, without question. They did come out with a lot more urgency. Like you said before the game, and like I said, it was these games are mental tests. They're not physical tests. Granted, Lynchburg has some good shooters, and they have some good shooting bigs too. But these are more mental tests. Are you going to hold your composure? Are you going to play down to the competition? Are you going to play up? Things like that. Or play the way you're supposed to play, I should say. And we once again the mental test we fail because physically scoring 80 points is a good thing. Out rebounding the team by 17, that's a physical thing. But then the mental thing, the 26 turnovers, that's a mental thing. And especially down the stretch, it was a couple possessions that the ball was just plucked out because we were being too loose with the basketball, and that's a mental error because all these guys know how to handle the ball. They could dribble the ball, but it's just being plucked out and not understanding the urgency of that possession.
And I guess finally, Coach, it's kind of hard to pick and choose from this game, but I know defensively you like to hang your head on that. Gave up 100 in the first game, 83. I know that's not a number that you want to see.
No, it's not. It's not at all. The 40, the more we look at even the percentage, the 40% overall is not what we're trying to do. We're trying to do 30s and 20s and things like that. Now, we did give them the 39% in the second half, but the problem was we shot 31% ourselves. Unlike the first half when, we shot 50%. So, it's a tale of two halves offensively, I guess defensively as well. But, with us, we're a work in progress. We got some things to do, a lot of things to do, honestly. And it's not a finished product by any means. We got 29 more games, and we got to keep figuring it out. Right now we obviously experimenting with different lineups and things like that due to many different factors. And, the experiment hasn't worked just yet, but once again, you know, we'll get in the lab and we're not going to hang our heads and stuff like that, because just like, you know, any other time, we'll figure it out. We always figure it out.
And that's one thing I can count on you for, is to figure it out here. And always a pleasure talking to you, Coach. We'll talk to you later on this week as the Spartans travel to California. Thank you. That's Coach Rob Jones as the Spartans fall tonight 83-80. We'll be back after this break here on the NSU Sports Network.